Hello everyone and welcome back to another feature on Wrong Town. I'm your host Alex Arjun and we're very excited to share what we have for you today. But before we begin our show, I just want to say a huge thank you to all our viewers who've been watching our shows and especially to those who continue to offer constructive feedback so that we can make Wrong Town as enjoyable for you as possible. On that note, let's begin. Today, our story is about an organization that extends well beyond the borders of our country. In fact, it encompasses a very large part of the Caribbean. You know, that place where pirates don't profit as much from their movies. Despite being part of South America, we in Guyana seem to be much more aligned with the Caribbean on many cultural and social fronts. Perhaps a big part of this has to do with the fact that we, like much of the Caribbean, share the English language. Or it could be that we, like much of the Caribbean, share the same word for a mildly inappropriate form of dancing. But the English language is not the only thing that binds us to our Caribbean neighbors. We have a cricket team together, even though at times we want to disown them. We share knowledge across national borders, such as constantly reminding Trinidad that it's called chicken curry and not curry chicken. Trinidad, it is chicken curry, and yours tastes like neither. And we even help settle regional disputes. But perhaps the biggest thing that holds us together is Caricom. And it seems like Caricom is important to us. I mean, we have a public holiday dedicated to it on the first Monday of every July. And this year, Caricom Day happened on the 4th of July. You know, the holiday where all of you go out and drink to America's independence. So let's talk about what Caricom actually is. It is basically an organization that helps to promote regional integration within the Caribbean. Guyana helped co-found Caricom alongside Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados in 1973, when all four countries signed the Treaty of Chaguaramas. And this is something we all learn in school. And since then, the organization has grown to include 15 member states and 5 associate members, all of which are Caribbean islands, with the exception of course, Guyana and Suriname, located in South America, and Belize, located in Central America. And being such an expansive entity that presumably plays an impactful role for all its member states, I wonder how much we, especially the youth of our society, even know about Caricom.
So, a week ago, July 4th, it was a holiday. What holiday was it?
Independence, 4th of July sale for America.
Okay, but it was a holiday in Guyana. What holiday was it for us?
I have no idea now.
It was Arrival Day, no?
Begins with a C.
Caricom Day.
Caricom Day. There you go. All right. Can you guys tell me what Caricom is?
Well, it's all about developing the country and all over, the Caribbean in a whole.
We had a holiday.
Guyana had a holiday.
Are y'all nervous? Caricom Day.
Caricom Day, great, right? It was that holiday you went to the party and you seen enough American flags. Yeah. Anyway, so it was Caricom Day. Can you guys tell me what Caricom is? Anybody?
It's a group of Caribbean countries. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that's good. That's what it is. It's Caribbean community.
Caricom Day.
Great, Caricom Day. You're the first person that got that on the first go. Well done. Great. Can any of you tell me what Caricom is?
I don't know. Caricom is like basically the common, within the Caribbean, to bring together the Caribbean countries so that we could work as one.
This last week, there was a holiday on the 4th of July. Can you tell me what that was? 4th of July.
Caricom.
Nice. That's a good answer. A lot of people have been telling me U.S. independence. Caricom holiday. Okay, can you tell me what Caricom is? Anybody?
Well, in school, I can't remember from now to then, but it's something to do with the...
As we've witnessed, Caricom can be a tricky thing to grasp, but we aren't the only country that has trouble with this.
Caribbean country them unite together and form a group that's named Caricom. You understand?
I basically don't know too much about Caricom. I think my primary school daughter knows more than I do, so I'll consult with her when I go home.
Well, Caricom is basically an association of Caribbean islands for economic trade and mutual economic trade and benefits, and it's supposed to be for ease of travel as well between and ease of doing business between the countries of its component members.
Well, not a thing really, you know. We just know Jamaica in it, and it helps support trade between the countries involved.
CARICOM is a regional body comprising the English-speaking Caribbean and Haiti.
Okay, I've left school a long time ago, so I don't really remember anything about CARICOM. But the few things I remember is that is Caribbean Community, stand for Caribbean Community, and it supports trades. That's it. I don't remember anything else.
Basically, CARICOM is a group of Caribbean countries, something like the EU right now, you know. So it's supposed to make Caribbean people lives easier.
To my understanding, I think CARICOM is a political organization where they actually discuss and come together to make a reasonable solution to a problem.
All right, CARICOM is a Caribbean community which consists of I think it's about 32 Caribbean states, right? Including Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Bahamas, etc.
So yes, some of us have an idea of what CARICOM does, but you can't fault those of us without a better grasp of it, because CARICOM encompasses so many things. For many of us, especially the younger folks, it seems like CARICOM is one of those things we're told is an important part of our history, and yet we still pay it no mind. You know, kind of like Forbes Burnham or coffee. To begin to understand CARICOM, let's go back to the beginning. Before there was CARICOM in 1973, there had been CARIFTA, which is the Caribbean Free Trade Agreement formed in 1965. CARIFTA is exactly as it sounds, enabling Caribbean countries to trade more freely amongst themselves. However, CARICOM eventually came along and superseded CARIFTA with more ambitious goals. Its main purposes are to promote economic integration among members, ensure benefits are shared equally, and help to coordinate foreign policies. And some of the major activities of CARICOM include coordinating economic policies and development planning, devising and instituting special projects for the less developed countries within its jurisdiction, operating as a regional single market for many of its members, and handling regional trade disputes. This essentially means that CARICOM identifies opportunities where its members can cooperate and realize mutual benefits. For example, CARDI, or the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, allows member states to collaborate on research and intelligence sharing of agricultural practices, which improves the agricultural industries across the Caribbean. Another example is the Creativity for Employment and Business Opportunity, known as CIBO. And CIBO is a tool to engage, inspire, and create entrepreneurial interest and action among young CARICOM nationals in and out of school and from all walks of life. It addresses psychological and social development issues and makes the link between entrepreneurship, the dreams and aspirations of young people, and regional integration, CARICOM's main goal. There have also been CIBO workshops here in Guyana with great outcomes. More recently, CARICOM countries have agreed to sign the Arrest Warrant Treaty by the end of 2016 this year, which would enable CARICOM states to strengthen law enforcement within the region. And it would work something like this. If we entered into this treaty and someone from here in Guyana committed a crime locally and decided to flee to Trinidad, then the Trinidad authorities would be able to arrest the person and have him deported to face charges back in Guyana. Although, let's not fool ourselves that Trinidad needed an arrest warrant treaty to start deporting Guyanese. However, perhaps the most important ideal that CARICOM continues to strive for is the establishment of the full-fledged CSME, or the Caribbean Single Market Economy, an idea envisioned in 1990. From their website, CARICOM says that the CSME is at the heart of CARICOM's economic integration. Basically, CSME aims to do what CARIFTA did for free trade, and then some. For example, the abolition of the work permit system and the establishment of the Certificate of Recognition of CARICOM Skills Qualification, commonly known as CARICOM Skills Certificate, allows you to work and live freely throughout the CSME. CSME also hopes to standardize and harmonize things like anti-dumping measures, banking and securities, competition policy, consumer protection, and even food and drug regulation and labeling. And these are tasks that might be difficult for any single Caribbean nation to achieve on its own. There's also the obvious benefits of economies of scale, which is to say that it is more economical to do things at a larger scale. And as we've reached this point of our segment, we hope you guys begin to get a clearer understanding of what Caricom is and how it benefits our country. But don't take it from me. My job is just to give you as much relevant information as possible so that we together can start a dialogue. And what better dialogue to have than with an official representative of Caricom who agreed to sit down and talk to us about what roles the organization plays within our society. Check it out.
Okay, so I'm here with Miss Ildiz Pollack-Bigley and Dr. Hilary Brown. Thank you guys so much for joining us and being with us today. I know, this is a great opportunity not only for me. I'm super excited, but also for our viewership, and this is just great. Before we begin, just so people can have a better understanding of what it is, what role you guys play with regards to Caricom, how about you just give us a quick description of your duties or how you became to sort of work within Caricom and the youth program. Ms. Dr. Brown, we can start with you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Alex. It's a pleasure to be on the program. I think for us who work here in the Secretariat, we are super excited about Caricom. My own introduction to Caricom and the regional movement was actually when I was 22.
Wow.
Which was a little while ago. And basically what happened was that a university professor at UWI-Mona said, Hilary, I want you to do a research project for me. I'm going to send you to all 15 Caricom member states. No, I didn't go to Haiti. He sent me to 14. He said, I'm going to send you to all 14 Caricom member states in 6 weeks.
Wow.
I left Jamaica and I was on the road. I'm from Jamaica, actually. And I was traveling throughout the region for 6 weeks non-stop.
So you racked up a lot of miles then.
I did, but they didn't have frequent flying.
Okay.
So, but it really blew my mind. I think from that moment onwards, I said, okay, I'm going to be an integrationist, I'm a regionalist. I'll definitely be working for Caricom at some point in my career.
Ms. Pollack, would you be able to give us a little description as well?
Yes, sure. Thank you for having us on the show. And it's a great way to appeal to young people.
We like to think so.
Yes, I think so too. Well, for me, I would say the number of years ago that I got involved is 16 into Caricom and its affairs. I basically got involved by assisting the then Caricom youth ambassadors from Suriname with projects to promote Caricom and to speak more and learn more about Caricom. And eventually, when their term was finished, I became the Caricom youth ambassador. Okay. And with that, I had numerous opportunities to travel throughout the region, to represent the youth of the region. For instance, I remember this so vividly at Carifesta in Trinidad. I think in 2006 is where I really worked very closely with Dr. Brown. And I had to represent all youth of the region on that stage, speaking about the need for culture and integration through culture. That was really exciting. So that was one of the main ways in getting involved for me with Caricom. And then I also had the privilege of chairing a Caricom Youth Commission, co-chairing that, and it really opened up so much of what the region is about and what we can really do to advance it. And when there was that opportunity for me to work here, I really took it to both hands.
And a lot of people, you ask them, what is Caricom? And they sort of don't know to differentiate Caricom, the organization, and Caricom, the secretariat here in Guyana. If I ask somebody what Caricom is, they might tell me, oh, it's that place up the East Coast on the train line. No, it's the secretariat. So let's just clear the air for the misinformed, and let's differentiate. One of you, can you please help me to differentiate the difference between Caricom and the Caricom secretariat?
Perfect. Okay. Very good point, Alex, because there's a big difference. Well, they're related, but they are distinct. So really, Caricom, the community, is the community of 15 member states and 5 associate members who have agreed to cooperate, work together, support each other to develop what we would like to call a community for all. Really, to improve the quality of life for all the citizens of the region. It's really saying, look, we realize we're all small, but when we come together, we have a bigger voice in the global community. And so really, Caricom is about better quality of life for its citizens. That's our overall goal and mission. But within that, we cooperate in a number of different areas. And we like to say that in Caricom, we have 4 major areas in which we cooperate. In foreign and community relations, coordinating our foreign policy so that we have that unified voice when we get into the UN and into the WTO and so on. We talk about trade and economic integration, and I think that's the one that most people hear the most about. Yeah, Caricom is about trading between nations, but it's not only trade and economic integration, it's also very importantly about human and social development, cooperating in education. You have CXC, I know most of our young people, certainly in Guyana and across the region, do CSEC exams. That comes through Caricom collaboration and agreeing on common standards and approaches and examinations.
Right.
The Caribbean Court of Justice and so on. So we cooperate in education, health, culture, sports, the whole range of areas, sustainable development, disaster management. So that's Caricom, the community. The Caricom Secretariat, the lovely building that they see on the East Coast, is where you have technical, professional staff that support the work of the member states.
Okay.
It's like the technical and administrative organization. So when the heads get together and say, we're going to do more in youth, we're going to do something in climate change, then it comes back to the Secretariat. We need to ensure that we follow up with all the member states, and we make sure the decisions that were made by our heads or our ministers responsible for whatever area is implemented. So the Secretariat really is a group of professionals who ensure that the decisions of that community of 15 member states and 5 associates, that the work gets implemented. So that really is a distinction. But I know a lot of the times when people say Caricom, they're thinking the building and the people who work here.
I'm very glad we cleared the air about that. So everybody listening, just know that Caricom is not that nice building with a nice lawn.
Not only.
It's not only that. It's much more encompassing.
Yeah.
Great. And so you said, Caricom is a lot more than just economic integration, trade, and policy. And those words, especially for youth who are not as fully educated or haven't reached the pinnacle of their academic career, or even those who don't feel they're academics, words like trade and policy and economic integration are very intimidating words. I'm intimidated by those things. But that's not a reason to not get involved in Caricom. There's, as you said, there's so many more encompassing parts that span this organization. And even as you mentioned, I want to go back to what you said, where you got excited about Caricom by visiting all these places and wanting to be a part of this group. How would you recommend for youth, and this goes to you too, Ms. Pollack, about getting youth excited? How do we get them excited about, just about the prospect or the possibilities of an organization that integrates different cultures?
It's a very important thing that I think we need to address on an ongoing basis, because there's so much that is happening within the community. There is so much more that we could do by working together, by getting to know each other. For me, I can remember that 6-week journey that I took through the region. And then after that, actually, I had another one that I did a similar thing. And then you would land in Montserrat and it's St. Patrick's Day and you're in the street party in Montserrat, then you fly down to St. Lucia and you're in time for the jazz festival. And so you really and truly, we know that culture and sports is a big unifying force within the region. And I think that's a nice entry point for young people to engage and to get to know and to get to understand the similarities and differences within the region. As you said, the trade and the integration and so on might seem a little intimidating, but when you really break it down, it's about people-to-people contacts. And if we really can facilitate that people-to-people exposure and understanding, because you will go to school, you will learn about Caricom in class, but it doesn't become real, until you really have that kind of exposure.
I think Dr. Brown touched on a very important aspect, and I think that is an area that young people themselves feel that they can contribute towards the community, which are culture and sports. And just to go a little back to the CCYD, is the Caricom Commission on Youth Development research that we did in 2010, young people indicated that those were the two areas that they feel that we need to invest more in to have their energies channeled into positivity. And we know that both sports and culture are huge industries that can bring us a lot of money as a region. So for me, those two areas, if we can expose young people more into those areas, it's also critical. But I think the whole aspect of participation and being part of the decision-making process within the community.
We begin to see the region now
as home.
And yes, the whole space is yours. It's not just only about the boundaries of Guyana or the boundaries of Barbados or the boundaries of St. Lucia. You begin to see the entire region as your space. You claim it, and you can look for work, you can look for entertainment, you can study. I need to be at this festival this weekend, or
Dr. Brown knows a lot about that. She's the culture person.
We'll have another segment where you can consult on entertainment.
I can give complete advice.
Oh man, but, that's great. That's great, and those are just as important too, because they're such a big part of life. And just this whole Caribbean community encompasses so much more than just national development. It has to do with a lot of personal development, which encompasses culture and arts and all these fun things that each country has. As you guys know, this question was inevitable. A big part of Caricom is the CSME, the Caribbean Single Market Economy. And going back to economics and economic integration and policy and trade, I the other day I was on the street doing my interviews, and I asked a lot of the young demographic about what they thought CSME was. Well, let's take a look. Do you guys know anything about the CSME, which is the Caricom Single Market Economy?
No, not really.
No. About the marketing, about around country? Yeah, that's it.
I guess in that is in terms of marketing products, in terms of the Caribbean, meaning if, say, for instance, you have a drink and you want to promote it, you can actually put it into the CSME and you could dish it out.
Cool. No.
Trading between the Caribbean countries.
Well, that's the gist of it. Basically what she said, like selling between the Caribbean countries, like products from others that you might not have. Basically like that.
Okay, but
no, I don't know what's in.
I heard about that. I heard about it. I can't tell you nothing, but I heard about it.
But I don't really know nothing about it.
Let's just give them a brief overview of the CSME and how it can incorporate youth within CARICOM.
The CARICOM Single Market and Economy, as we know, I'm sure many of the young people probably did it in school, and you should have quizzed them on it on the street. What are the 5 regimes that make up the CSME? So it's the free movement of people, and most of the time people most of the attention is focused on the free movement of people. But there's also the free movement of capital, the free movement of goods, which is a trade that has been going on for a long time, the free movement of services, which is kind of evolving, so that's in tourism and professional services and cultural services, sports, so the whole service industry. And then there is what we call the right of establishment, which is the freedom to move in the region and establish a business or expand a business. So these young SIBO entrepreneurs that we're developing, one of the things that we expose them to in the workshop is the CSME, to get them to start thinking from day one that your market is not only your space that you're in. The entire region is your market. And you have so much more that you can tap into when you think big and think beyond your borders. So those are the CSME regime issues, and I think that again we don't want to get only bogged down on the issue of the economics of a market, because for a market to function, people have to function in the market.
Absolutely.
So you can't divorce the human development side, the youth development side, the cultural development side from that market that you're trying to establish. They're all interrelated.
As we look more and more into Caricom's efforts, it looks like we're moving in the right direction. Perhaps just as we pay attention to our national development, we should also be keen on the Caribbean's regional development. Because like it or not, we're a part of it. And like they say, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That's our show for today. We really hope you enjoyed it. And please let us know what you think about this episode by leaving a comment or sending a message through the Alex Arjun page on Facebook, so that together we can continue to educate and inspire the young people of our society. Join us next time for an all-new episode of Wrong Town, only on E1.